So the overall goal is, after this week of sharing ideas and learning from other tribal nations, these delegations or teams will be inspired to go back to their tribal nations and speak with them about the experience they had and what they learned here and the ideas that came up while they met in this place.
I think I was most looking forward to networking. I feel like as Indigenous people, it's important for us to always come together in person as a community. You know, we're all pollinating each other and flourishing from the information that we get from each other.
It was inspirational, and it was also really productive, and it's hard to do both. I don't know if I've ever experienced that before. I'm just really impressed with the pacing and the level of facilitation and presentations, and just having that space to make sure that it was both inspirational and productive. I mean, that's amazing. We had enough time and facilitated groups to kind of process that and make it useful to us, and then for us to work as a team to figure out what did we come here to get, and then actually to work together to create that plan or to create those synergies that we wanted.
That's why we encourage groups of tribal nations to come. If we have multiple people from a tribal nation experience the same thing but from their different perspectives, they can kind of bounce these ideas off one another and kind of return to their tribal nation as a cohort. This is kind of a first step in supporting tribal nations within the South and Eastern region to think of ideas on how our many tribal nations can address climate change and to go home inspired. Winikisak, Natasuis Casey Thornbrew, and Thomas Masipia. Good day, my name is Casey Thornbrew, and I'm a citizen of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe. I work as the Tribal Climate Science Liaison and Program Manager for the climate program with United South and Eastern Tribes, also known as USET. So this camp was largely inspired by our sister organization's work, Affiliated Tribes of Northwest Indians. They had been doing a camp to discuss climate change and its impacts and a strategy that could be brought back to their own tribal nation to begin to address climate change. And it was really inspiring, and we thought we would like to take a version of the camp and apply it in the region for which we work, USET. We work with 33 fairly recognized tribal nations from the northeastern woods down the Atlantic seaboard, all the way down to the Everglades, and then west across to the Gulf Coast. In March 2020, we were getting ready to get everything all squared away for a summer camp. And of course, the pandemic hit and everything shut down, and we knew very quickly we would no longer be able to do safely an in-person event for 2020. So we did have to cancel it and postpone for that time being. In the summer of 2021, we elected to hold a virtual camp.
I was so impressed with every interaction that I've had with USET, the virtual conference last year and their support on our cultural vulnerability assessment. I was really looking forward to coming because it's all about relationship building. It's not necessarily about the technical support. It's more the way of thinking and the way of taking the time to really build relationship and trust with each other. And you can't do that virtually.
We commenced with the planning, started to look for venues and meeting with tribal nations that could be maybe a prospective hosts for such event. We came to this place, Schoodic Institute on the Schoodic Peninsula on Wabanaki country in the space of Maine and the Gulf of Maine.
To me, it feels like another world. I love the coast, I love the water, I love the rocks and the boulders and the wildlife, and it's so casual for people to see eagles here, and that's all I wanted to see, and I got to see 3, so I'm content.
The mosquitoes aren't any different though.
Yeah, they're still mosquitoes.
But it's peaceful. I feel like like so at ease. It's nice. It's healthy to be out here. It's good.
Yeah.
For me, I think what makes it different is being able to see a mountain and then the ocean at the same time.
Yes.
That's like
exactly.
mind blowing.
It's just so nice to get away and for us to have this time together to really like break out of our day to day and just really think about these bigger issues and how we can connect with others in the region, and like I think giving us like the physical space and the mental space to do what we came here to do. You know, I think it was perfect.
I feel like we got a lot of work done.
We did.
While also enjoying ourselves.
We are really excited to have multiple tribal nations represented. We have staff from the Penobscot Nation, which is the territory right here, very, very close. Also among the Wabanaki nations represented this camp include Passamaquoddy tribe at Sipayak. We have also a delegation from the Mi'kmaq Nation. We have participating also tribal leaders from the Holton Band of Maliseet Indians. Working south, we have a delegation here of tribal staff from the Wampanoag tribe of Gayhead-Aquina. We also have a delegation from the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. We have a delegation from the Catawba Nation, and we have a delegation from the Seminole tribe of Florida. In terms of the activities, the first 2 days we had a number of speakers to share tribal-based approaches to climate change adaptation.
About having traditional perspectives and the work that we're doing, bringing that indigenous knowledge forward. It's not just something we're, trying to incorporate, this is something we need to incorporate.
Within the speakers, we had a series of field trips to see what things and areas of high value and cultural value for the Wabanaki nations in this place. That included a visit to Sweetgrass area in Salt Marsh.
And we talked with the botanist and we talked with Becky, and what came from that was 2 separate studies, like this kind of parallel studies, where one we just labeled as indigenous-led methods, where Native people, we just followed them around, like they were our teacher, right? We followed people, they chose locations, we set up permanent plots where we measured the sweetgrass abundance previously, after harvest of that year, and then the next following 2 years, the regrowth. And so the botanists got the results back after a year of regrowth, and then we had our results back as well, and from doing just a simple t-test in that year, it showed that our results, the population increased from harvesting, which is what Native people say, that the sweetgrass needs us, right? That we need the sweetgrass and the sweetgrass needs us, and that harvesting will increase population. And that's what those numbers showed as well. But we're out harvesting together, no, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters there but just being present in the land together, and it ends up making everything great. It's just this experience of love, this expression of love, really. Right? Everything you do there.
We had a wonderful field trip to different points up the Penobscot River. The Penobscot River is over time being restored through efforts from the Penobscot Nation and its natural resources program.
In the 30, 40 years that the fishway existed here, they passed 15 to 19 American shad. This river historically would have supported a shad run of close to 1 million, and it would have supported a river herring run in the tens of millions. In 2004, they signed the Penobscot River Settlement Accord. They would own those dams if they could raise the money. And if they could raise the money after that, they would remove those dams. And never in our careers would we imagine that main stem dams on the Penobscot River would ever be removed. In 2012, they removed the Great Works Dam. In 2013, they removed the Beezy Dam. In 2014, a brand new fish lift was constructed upstream at the first dam on the river now at Milford. That fishway, although not perfect, passes alewives very well compared to its predecessor, and in the first season passed close to 100,000 fish. This year it passed 2.7 million herring. So that's quite a gain. It is still a drop in the bucket, but we're moving in the right direction.
So we're wrapping up today. We'll be celebrating this evening with the lobster dinner, a food source very important for this region. We have many people excited about it, especially those from outside this region who have been looking forward to it for a very long time. Tribal nation delegations that have been mentioned are working independently now on their projects, what their strategies are going to be when they return home to their tribal nations.
As an Indigenous person, like I feel like that is my responsibility to my community, is to always learn what I can to help make things better for like my future generations. But as an Indigenous person, I'll never separate myself from the land. Like it'll always be on my mind. So that's why I wanted to come back and work for my tribe, because I just feel like I just have such a responsibility to make a difference. I think I'm just really grateful to USET. I feel like they just ran this very, very well. I don't think there's anything they could have done better.